All right, let's dive right into this explainer and decode the exact framework for breaking out of an average life and building real wealth while you're young. If you're ambitious, but you kind of feel like you're being constantly lied to about money, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're exploring a highly structured, five-stage process developed by a self-made multimillionaire who quit his job in his early 20s and figured out exactly what it takes to actually get rich. But look, before we get to the good stuff, we've got to address a massive roadblock. Society genuinely wants you to accept a completely normal life with average pay. And if you dare to want more, there's this heavy underlying pressure that makes you feel greedy. Because of this, when you finally try to break out, you are just bombarded with choices. Is the fastest way to wealth dropshipping? Is it crypto? What about day trading? Everyone is telling you something totally different, which leaves you totally frozen. You have so many options that you end up terrified of picking the wrong one. But here is the real danger. When you don't make a choice, life is just going to pick for you. And honestly, this quote right here hits the nail on the head. It's a massive trap. Hoping to strike it big while just floating from one job to the next basically means you're just building someone else's dream. Think about it. Nobody, and I mean literally nobody, is waking up in the morning thinking about how to make you rich. The system is fundamentally designed to keep you broke if you just go with the flow. The only person who's ever going to put your success first is you. So, to actually take control and map this out, we're going to walk through 5 distinct stages you must conquer: drifting, obsession, discovery, acceleration, and finally, freedom. Let's start with stage 1, drifting. This is exactly where the vast majority of ambitious young folks are stuck right now. You probably know the type. Heck, maybe it's even you right now. A drifter is just kind of floating through life, waiting for something magical to happen instead of actually steering. They hop aimlessly from one side hustle to the next. And when things get tough, they almost always fall back on that comforting little lie. Well, money doesn't buy happiness anyway. But come on, that is a total myth fed to people for decades. Money equals freedom, and freedom, that equals happiness. A drifter will absolutely never build serious wealth on their own merit because their actions just don't match their ambitions. Sure, they might win the lottery, but they aren't building it themselves. So you've got to ask yourself honestly, have you been using that happiness myth as a safety net? To break out of that, you have to make one massive shift, which brings us to stage 2, obsession. It's wild, right? Lots of people say they want to be wealthy, but they're actually just super arrogant in their goal setting. They want to get rich, sure, but they also want to learn the guitar, become fluent in a new language, and train for a marathon all at the exact same time. I mean, you'd literally laugh at someone trying to become a pro footballer while juggling 12 other completely unrelated hobbies on the side. Building real wealth is something only a tiny fraction of the population ever achieves. So why treat it any differently? You need total obsession. You have to lock in on this one single goal. Once you're completely obsessed, we hit stage 3, discovery. Basically, how do we actually find the pathway to make the money? Now, this might sound a bit harsh, but it is just the absolute truth of the market. You get paid in direct proportion to the value you provide. So if you aren't rich yet, it's simply because you lack value right now. But hey, that's actually great news. You don't need to invent the next big app or discover some secret crypto coin. You just need to become more valuable simply by finding what is already working for other people and doing exactly that. This is literally the ultimate cheat code. It's all about finding a blueprint. The author of our source material actually shares this great story from his 20s. He wanted to open a radio-controlled model shop, but he didn't just guess how to run one. Instead, he got a Saturday job at a local model shop and acted like a total sponge. He asked endless questions, chatted up the customers, and eagerly uncovered the owner's exact proven methods. He essentially downloaded a living blueprint so he could completely skip all those painful beginner mistakes. And the crazy thing is, you can replicate this for literally any high-income skill. Video editing, copywriting, dropshipping, whatever. Step 1, find someone a few steps ahead of you. And honestly, it is way better if they aren't famous. That way you know their money comes purely from their skills, not just from having a massive personal brand. You can find these folks in Discord groups or local clubs. Step 2, uncover their pathway. And step 3, just relentlessly copy them to close that skill gap. Right. That brings us to the brutal part. Stage 4, acceleration. Time to put your head down and do the grueling work. But here's the thing, just practicing in the dark isn't enough. You absolutely must get constructive feedback so you can pivot when you're messing up. And there is a golden rule here. Exactly 0% of your feedback should come from friends and family. Why? Well, because they love you, so they're going to spare your feelings. Plus, they simply lack the real-world experience to actually help you. You need 50% of your feedback from people in the trenches with you and 50% from mentors who are exactly one step ahead. This leads straight into what wealthy people call the lonely chapter. And man, it is a brutal period. You start month 1 fully committed to a skill. By year 1, you're going to start feeling disconnected from your childhood friends who just don't share that same drive. By year 2, you're probably grinding away totally alone. You don't relate to your old friends anymore, but you aren't quite successful enough yet to hang out with your wealthy idols. It is a strange, deeply isolating middle ground. And listen to me, this lonely chapter is exactly where most people throw in the towel and slip right back into being average. But if you survive that lonely chapter and master your skills, you finally reach stage 5, freedom, the holy grail. Hitting financial freedom forces a very distinct choice, honestly. Earning big money gives you options. You can choose to just be rich, blowing your cash on flashy cars and designer clothes just to impress people, or you can build true wealth. True wealth means realizing that you are the ultimate asset and choosing to reinvest your money to build multiple compounding streams of income. The stark reality really shows up in how people treat their cash. Think about this. The average person will happily drop $1,000 on the newest iPhone or just some meaningless luxury without batting an eye. But those exact same people, no way. They will flat out refuse to invest a tiny fraction of that, like $200, into reading a book, joining a mastermind community, or learning a new high-income skill. The real secret is that true wealth comes from understanding that these habits yield the absolute highest ROI you will ever get. You are the greatest asset you're ever going to hold, and your skills, they compound exactly like money does. Wealthy people systematically reinvest in themselves, in index funds, in crypto, in stocks, and they spend hours a day learning, even after they've achieved total freedom. Poor people spend money to impress other poor people. Wealthy people buy back their time and multiply their assets. So I'm going to leave you with this final question to chew on, because the math is just undeniable. Every single dollar you blow today on meaningless things just to look impressive is a dollar you literally stole from your own future freedom. So what's it going to be? Are you drifting, or are you ready to become obsessed?